This season our theme was one, and it's our theme, or I guess our slogan, was one, and it's a one-word slogan and a three-letter word, but it had a lot of meaning to us. Obviously, it was the first year or year one of a new era for Glen football, but even more importantly, it was the approach that we took this season. We knew that in order to build success here and to get back to where we thought we could be, we needed to take it one step at a time. And in order to do that, we had to take it one day at a time, one practice at a time, one rep at a time, one play at a time, one game at a time. And ultimately, we knew if we did that, that it would add up to a great season. And you know, finally, it also stands for unity. We knew we had to join together as one, as a team. We needed to have a we, not me mentality. And if we stuck together as one, we knew we'd go far. Our first game of the season this year was versus Saddlebrook, and we have a long-standing rivalry with them. Not so much the last couple of years, but in the past, we've had some great games with them, and this year was no different. We went in there, the grass, they didn't cut the grass I think for a couple of weeks. It was wet, it was raining out, so we had some trouble moving around. Tried to slow us down, I guess, but it was one of those games where I think we controlled the game, but on the scoreboard it was pretty much 7-7 the entire game. Obviously we scored and then they scored pretty soon after that. Mainly on a play that tipped off of two of our guys on defense and right into the hands of their player. And that was really their best play of the game. Other than that, our defense played great. But they did score on that drive and made it 7-7, and it stayed 7-7 all the way into overtime. I remember standing on the sideline in the third quarter, walking up and down, pacing back and forth, wondering what I got myself into. Ultimately, the game did go into overtime, and we won the toss and chose to take the ball, which is something not a lot of teams usually do. But we wanted to control what happened, and we got a first down right off the bat. And then a couple plays in a row did not work, and it came down to a fourth down from, I believe, our 3 or 2 yard line. And it really wasn't that big of a decision for us. We sort of made the decision to go for it. I called a timeout, went and talked to the players, and I asked them, should we kick the field goal or go for it? And right off the bat, they all looked at me and said, Coach, let's go for it. Let's go for the touchdown. And I knew from their body language that they really were confident that we could do this. So after the Saddlebrook game, I thought to myself, okay, that's one. We're not going to spend too much time on the Patterson Catholic game. They're obviously a great team. They came into our place, and we hung with them for 3+ quarters. And you know, we didn't come out on top. Obviously, they were a great team. They went on to be an undefeated state champs. But that's about enough on Patterson Catholic.
One of the ongoing issues in Glen Rock is how great our legacy is. And sometimes when you're caught up in the moment of things, after you have great year after great year, you tend to get caught in the past a little bit. And this year, we had a little bit of that.
Coach O'Hagan came up to me and told me that, that this year it was my team, it wasn't Chucky's team anymore. I took those words certainly to heart because, Chuck was obviously one of the best players that Glen Rock has ever had, so I knew that, personally I had to step up and be a leader on the team.
It was time for Brendan and Matty Howard and Berkey and all of those guys to step up. And you know what? Put those guys behind you. They're rooting for you, but it's your turn.
It's not Chucky's team anymore, Miller. It's your team. Be you. Be you, and you're great. You're great on your own. Just be you.
This is a great win for us today here in Garfield. We finally put everything together, and it's nice to get back on the winning side.
Well, coaching against your son adds a whole new realm to being nauseous and being nervous and wanting to vomit before the game. It's a catch-22. I want to go out there and I want my family here to go and beat Hawthorne, but on the other hand, when I saw my son out there, I hear the play being called, and in my mind I'm thinking, boy, they're going to beat my son on this one here. But a father doesn't want to show up his son, but a son might want to show up his father, and that's good.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for him. He's had to do it before with his other son, Will, and this year he had to do it against his son, Matt. And Matt had probably his best game of his career against us, unfortunately. And a couple times, Coach even cheered for him, which was a little awkward.
He had a great game. I was very proud of him. And it came down to at the end of the game where he had to make a long snap. And I'm thinking, well, hey, maybe he'll mess up the snap. And I said, oh my God, wait a second, that's my son. So maybe we'll just block it. And the thing that I really pray for is that we win, my son plays great, and that he doesn't get hurt. And that's what happened this year.
fly. Doubles A, fly, black choice. Tell Tevin to run hard and get confident.
Here comes fresh again.
It was 6-6 for primarily the whole game, and they scored late with about 5 minutes to go to make it 14-6. They scored and went for two, made it 14-6. So it was an 8-point game, and we got the ball back. And first three plays didn't work, and then it was fourth and about a mile. I think it was fourth and 17, fourth and 18. And we called a timeout. We decided on a play, and we didn't really call it for it to work the way it did. We wanted to get a first down, obviously, but we got a little bit more. Brendan Miller made a great pass to Sean Miller, who caught it in stride and went about 70 yards for a touchdown. Our defense stepped up as usual, pushed them to 3 and out, punted the ball, and then first play from scrimmage, Brett Lederer ran to the flat, and as we teach him, if he gets to the sideline, turn it up. He did just that. Brendan saw it, rolled out a little bit, and hit Brett in stride up the sideline, put us up 18-14, and again we went for two, didn't get it, so it was still 18-14. They got the ball back, drove, and we stopped them. And what a game that was.
People talk about being lucky, and people talk about how, Hawthorne gave us the game. I don't buy that. You know what? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. We practice every day that 2-minute drill, and we practice how you come back and how you play all the way to the whistle. I said to the kids, sometimes you steal a game now and again, and I meant it at the time. But the more I think about it, you know what? We didn't steal it. We won that game. But it was because of our preparation and because our kids just don't quit.
You know what? When you win a dogfight like this, you can pull out a victory. That says something about you. So be proud. But know that we've got a lot of work to do.
It's special. I don't enjoy the game. I wish it was done. It doesn't get old, and I hope we don't play them next year. If we do, I hope we win. I hope my son plays great, and I hope he comes out healthy.
Being a Group 2 team, we knew we had to pretty much win every game. And at this point in the time, we were 3-1, and we went to Elmwood Park. They were undefeated. They were 4-0. So this was a huge game. It started out like we did not want it to start out. They went up 7-0, pinned us deep in our own zone, and we were on our own one. And we're at 7-0. I believe it's the second quarter, and that's when we turned it on.
And the next one you take to the house. The next one you take to the house. Hey, you okay? You sure? All right, get him out. EJ, let's go. Hey, we're going 31 tight, 31 tight. Listen, if he's not in doubles here, you're going to go, okay? We also got a field goal, and if you got a trick right now, now's the time. One at a time.
That was. That's a big win. You can finally smile. Way to go, June. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. That is how it should be all the time. Yeah, boys. That's what we look for. We look for perfection on your part. It wasn't perfect, but you know what? I'll take 34-14 versus a 4-0 team any day of the week. Any day of the week. We might have found something we can go with here. 1, 2, 3.
The Elmwood Park win was the first win when we as a team really thought that we started to have something going.
Brendan Miller got voted Athlete of the Week in the Bergen Record that week, and a lot of receivers got involved. Eric Jordan had a great game. Dylan White, all the receivers really stepped up. Tevin Ankle had a tremendous catch for a touchdown, and you know, our offensive line gave Brendan just about as much time as he needed the entire game. We ran the ball well. We threw the ball well, and again, our defense played tremendously. One of the great things that occurred this year is that I was able to bring back the entire staff that was around last year, starting with Mike Line, who took over this year as primarily our defensive line coach. Doug Tanga, we bumped him up from the JV and freshman level to take over the offensive line duties. Coach O'Hagan, obviously, he's the jack of all trades for us. He does just about everything from the freshman level all the way up to the varsity level. And this year we had 2 new additions, Pete St. Lawrence, who was our special teams coordinator and also helped out with our quarterbacks, wide receivers, and defensive backs, and Billy Crispino, who is a volunteer coach for us and doesn't get enough credit for that because he doesn't get paid to put in all the hours he does. And he was our linebacker coach, our defensive coordinator on JV and freshman, and also helped out with long snapping. And last but not least, Coach Kresh, who's been here for 14 years. He's our defensive coordinator. Just doesn't get enough credit. I think he's the most best kept secret in Bergen County, or maybe even the state. He is my right-hand man, and the best thing I did this year was pretty much just let him run the defense. Whatever he thought was the best was what we went with, and he is just so valuable to this team, and we all know that. The people who need to know that, and I think it's important that he gets the credit he deserves.
In the papers you read about our run and shoot offense, or we read about the legacy of Mr. Diet and now the new coach who's come in who's done a fantastic job. But to anybody who knows football, the real consistency throughout the 13 years that I've been here has been Jeff Kresh.
Learning Coach Kresh's defensive system is like learning a whole new language. There's a bunch of different terminologies, a bunch of different signals, and I think, I'm pretty sure that we had more defensive plays than offensive plays.
50. Shade, slant strong, weak plug. 31, okay, weak plug. 50, eagle strong, scrape strong. Show this, then shift to this. Hey, watch screen. 3-4.
There is a lot of jargon, there is a lot of hand signals, and our guys pick it up, and it actually gets a lot of fun because they start making up their own calls. I actually ran out of hand signals, and sometimes it looks like I'm breakdancing on the side.
Hey, that defense, be ready now, fellas. Come on. Don't get too tight now. Don't get too tight. Atwater. Elmer. Silver. Red. Navy. No. 50, slant strong. Detroit. Hey, Lewitt.
And I can say unequivocally, the best defensive coach that I've ever been around, high school, college, is Jeff Kresh. Jeff's ability to adapt to situations and Jeff's ability to separate himself from the storm in a game is something that, unless you know him personally like I do, is really unbelievable. His ability to just walk away, you'll see in film sometime when you're watching the game, he'll walk 25, 30 yards away from everybody while everything's going crazy, calm down, he'll keep everything in perspective and say, hey, O'Hagan, I'm going to try this. He'll take out a pen and paper in the middle of the game, and I'm going to move Howard to here, I'm going to move Burke to here, I'm going to move Miller to here, I'm going to move whoever to here, and do it on the fly and sell it to the kids in such a way that they know it's going to work, because he knows it's going to work before we've even tried it.
One thing I noticed in my high school career is that during halftime we always make defensive adjustments, and this is one thing that Coach Kresh does that really helps us win the games.
Our guys do a great job with it, and you got to be very cerebral to do that, and our guys are very challenged, and it's really worked for us these last 15 years.
But overall, he's probably one of the best coaches in the whole county, if not the whole state, and it was certainly a pleasure playing for him.
And we've had just so many players. I'd like to come up one time with an all Glen Rock team on defense, but there'd be a lot of names, probably a good day for debate.
You look back on the great teams that we've had, the one consistency is we've always had a great defense, and that starts and ends with Jeff Kresh.
Manchester this year is what they call a trap game. We had just had a huge game versus Elmwood Park. We knew the next week we had a huge game at Lodi. Manchester's record on paper wasn't great, but they were a good team.
At halftime, we had to win that game. We really did. We had to win that game to get into the States and make a move. And I was talking to the kids, and I had all the seniors around me, and became very emotional that we did not want to have Manchester, no disrespect to Manchester, but we were a better football team than Manchester. And we did not want to have Manchester be the team that was going to knock us off. It would be very difficult to swallow for that one. And the kids really responded. And that was one of those moments that you have as a coach, and between the coach and the kids, that I'll take with me for a long time. And as always, this group of kids responded very well.
They had a nice team. They had a great athletic running back who was about 6'7" and fast. But we held him in check pretty much the entire game. He did have one long run with a questionable holding call.
Another close one here today in Manchester. We kept everyone's blood pressure high as always, but the main thing is we're walking away with the W.
A win is a win. We'll go home and watch film. We'll try to get better every week in and week out. Next week's Lodi, and we're going to be in another dogfight. These guys were tough today. Got a lot of good ball players. That kid number 9 is a hell of a back, but today they only got maybe a 3-yard drive from a interception return and then on 2 plays. So right now the defense has been real stingy, and we're just going to try to get better.
So now we had Lodi, and surprise, surprise, it was raining. Probably harder than it was all season. And there was even some talk about moving the game, but with all the festivities, it was homecoming. They were naming the field after Coach Diet. We decided to play the game, and we were hoping that possibly it would be to our advantage. At halftime, the score remarkably was 2-0, which is very rare in the game of football. But that just goes to show the effect that the weather had.
At the time, we thought we had to win that game to make the playoffs, or so we thought.
You know, really, it came down to them having a couple good plays and us having a couple good plays, but I think we held them in check pretty well. Unfortunately, they did win the game, and you know, but we did have the ball with a chance to win it at the end, which is all you can really ask for in a game like that.
It turned out to be a rainy, sloppy game that I just want to forget about.
The Pompton game was a do-or-die game for us. We knew that we needed this win to make the playoffs, and I think we certainly came out strong.
A couple days beforehand, we read the weather report. It was supposed to be a nice 60-degree and sunny day, and wouldn't you know that it rained again. And what else is new? We knew we had to win to have a chance at making the playoffs, and they knew they had to win to have a chance at making the playoffs. So the stakes were really high. On our first touchdown, it was a quarterback draw, and the next day when we were going over film on Monday, we called it pretty much the perfect play. All 11 players on that play did exactly what they were supposed to, and that just goes to show if everyone does what they're supposed to, good things are going to happen. Our next touchdown, the ball actually got tipped right into Sean Miller's hands, but actually not right into Sean Miller's hands because those catches are very hard to make when the ball is going one direction and then it's tipped in another direction. So Sean's concentration on that play was tremendous. And then our third touchdown was Brendan scrambled out to the left a little bit, and Dylan White did exactly what he's supposed to. He was up, so when Brendan started scrambling, he went back and he went deep, and Brendan hit him in stride, and Dylan made one of his many diving catches of the season to really put the game away at that point.
I think that certainly this game showed how much of a team we really were. We weren't a team built up of any individual players. We all picked each other up at some point, and that ended up bringing us to victory.
The ninth game of the season is always an interesting game because all the games that we needed to play for playoff implications is over, and you don't want to go into a game like that thinking it doesn't count.
We just went out there and we knew we had to do our job. We weren't sure if we were in the playoffs yet, but we also knew we had to win the game.
The approach we took for the Waldwick Midland Park game was, we can't really control what's happened in the past. We can't control what's happened in the future playoff-wise. We had to wait till later that night. The best approach we could do is just go out there and play the best game we could, and we could control the present, and we did exactly that.
Doubles to Liz, Black Lobster.
Joe Leam had his best varsity game to this point. That game, he had a bunch of long runs, one that resulted in a touchdown. And come on, Diamo, kick one. Blast it here. Nice job. You got it, Mikey. Al Artisona, who we call Taco, just had a great play. We had called a play where he was going to hitch, I believe, and there was nobody there, so he adjusted his route, and he was, he did exactly what we teach him to do, and that's always rewarding to see. And he was rewarded with a touchdown.
Nice job. Good job, buddy. Good job, Al. Way to go, Joe.
Coach Quinn, what do you think about the defensive performance today? We got a shutout today.
I think they did pretty well today.
How did you do today?
I think I did pretty well.
You did pretty well. That's good English you got there. I'm glad. This is Coach Quinn over here. He calls all the defenses today. He's 0 for 73 right now. He made one call today, and he thought, okay, now he's going to call the whole day. But we're doing good, right?
Yeah.
Let's hope everything happens for us today, right?
Yeah.
You got me.
We did everything that was in our control today. We did. 38-0. We did a good job. A lot of people got playing time, and now it's just it's out of our hands. Let's see what happens.
Again, 7-2 regular season, outstanding year by the boys. Now we just hope that PV does us right. I just couldn't be more proud of a group. They hung in there. We had a lot of injuries in the beginning, and the kids just played hard. And again, this is a very, very strong Glen Rock team. The tradition has continued, and very, very proud of this group. Congratulations on a great year.
After the Waldwick game, we still did not know if we were in the playoffs or not. What we needed to happen was we needed Mawa to lose to Pascack Valley. There was a night game later on that night. So the coaches all got together, and we were getting text message updates throughout the game. And Mawa was actually up at certain times throughout the game, so we were sweating this one out. And it was a long 2-3 hours waiting to see if we got in. And thankfully, Pascack Valley did pull off the victory. And that put us in the playoffs. And we were obviously ecstatic. We were so happy, thrilled, a little relieved even, knowing that the streak was still alive in which we were still in the playoffs. And that was the good news. The bad news was that we were the 8th seed. We had to go up to Stanhope, New Jersey the next week and play an undefeated Lenape Valley team.
I watched probably 9 games of Lenape Valley, and everything that I saw, nobody stopped them. They ran when it was wet. They ran when it was snowing out. Their execution on their Delaware wing tee was perfection. And of course, being a defensive coordinator, you've always got to worry about stopping the other team. And I didn't say I had doubts, but I wondered how good are they and how good are we?
We had seen them on film, and they looked unstoppable. No one in their league seemed to be able to get any kind of pressure, make any kind of stop on them. So we knew that we had to come in and work hard that week. I think every day we came in early, around 7 a.m. to watch film, lift, go over plays. Just do something just to get a little bit of an advantage.
Stanhope, New Jersey is where the game was.
Set off Saturday for a journey of a bus ride. It took over an hour. We ended up in traffic.
Driving up on the bus, I talked about a Coach Coughlin story about the coal miners in Pennsylvania who they got trapped into the mine, and they sent up a letter that they're linking the chain. They weren't going to leave together, and they were going to stay together. And I tried to relate that to this team when we were driving up there, that no matter what happens, our chain will always be linked. And boy, oh boy, if we win this game, this is going to be one of the fondest memories. And we'll always think about these guys. When you're 70 years old, you'll look back and everybody will still look the same, the bus will smell the same, and everybody's expressions will still be the same.
He talked about the other upsets that have taken place in history, David and Goliath, and that was the approach we took. And at one point when we were sitting through the traffic, I got up and I looked back, and pretty much the entire bus was, all the players were sleeping. And you can look at that as a good thing or bad thing. I was sort of nervous at the time, but I think that sort of just proved how relaxed we were for that game. And we really didn't take it as an 8 versus 1 game. We went in with total confidence and knowing that we could win the game. was a couple minutes left in the half, and we put together about an 11-play drive, in which we did score to make it 14-14 going into the half. And I really think that catapulted us in the second half.
In the first half, we had some trouble. With about 3 or 4 minutes left in the half, Jeff came up with a couple of things and was bouncing them back and forth, and we started to slow him down a little bit. But at halftime, again, he and I sat in the back while everybody was talking, and he took about 3 to 5 minutes where he just sat there by himself and put his head down and thought and thought and thought. And then he came over and said, "Mike, I need you to help me with something." Basically what I did is I held the chalkboard for him.
When Coach Kresh made the defensive adjustment at halftime and the other coaches talked about what we were going to be doing on offense, we just had a sense of confidence in ourselves and our abilities as a team. I remember walking out after halftime, and as we were passing the Lenape Valley stands, one kid was over the end of the rail heckling all of us, and that's when I turned to Matt Howard and I said, "We're going to win this game, Matt."
Again, if it wasn't for the adjustments that Jeff made at halftime and the trust that the kids have in Jeff, I think that's the most important part about how great he is that the kids believe what he says is going to work. And we didn't practice it. We didn't come up with a scheme and say we're going to try this in this game and see if it works against Lenape. We did it in the state game against the #1 seed and absolutely shut them down. And to me, that epitomizes what Jeff's all about.
We went on page 3 and 4 to their page 2, and our guys just did a great job. I was so proud of the way they played.
Ticked away in state playoff action. Your winners, the Glen Panthers 41, the Lenape Valley Patriots 14.
You gotta keep it down. But I think it's worth a little bit of some cheering.
Just being the number 8 seed and beating the number 1 seed, it's the best feeling, and we're all gonna share that feeling as a team forever.
What an experience that was. Winning that game is something I will never forget. This is probably the game that, when I look back at this season, this will be the game that we all remember.
There's an expression that if you win today, you'll walk together forever. I certainly think that the Lenape Valley game will be that game for us. You know, with all the struggles we had early on in the season, we finally brought it together and pulled one of the biggest upsets in North Jersey football history.
You know, one thing I'm going to remember for this game is afterwards. You know, I got a chance to give my father a hug, and you know, he was there at the game, and he's pretty much at every, you know, he is at every game, and he's a great supporter of our program, and you know, it was just so nice to give him a hug. I know how happy he was. And then right next to him was my Uncle Tom, who's also a huge supporter of our team. And then the next person I hugged was Coach Diet. So that was really special for me to be able to hug 3 people who I look up to as heroes in my life. I was able to experience this with them.
You know, I remember the bus ride back, pouring rain, and Jimmy on the phone and relaying all the messages, and I just remember the smiles and the elation from everybody. It's something that will always be there for us, and I told them that. They know it, and they'll be passing this story on to other people too.
Probably the hardest part about coaching is that every year you have to say goodbye to the senior class. And this year we had a group of 14 seniors, and it's been a great ride, you know.
Well, this senior class was very, very unique. You know, I'm their coach, but I really feel that we have a strong friendship with these guys.
They started out as undefeated freshmen, and then we made the playoffs every year. The rest of the 3 years, they played in Giant Stadium. And they're a great group. They're a really tight-knit group.
A lot of laughs. There are a lot of good chuckles during practice. I really think that I could be buddies with these guys. I wish they were all coming back. I'm going to miss them dearly. That's probably the hardest thing every year, when you get so tight with these seniors and all of a sudden they start moving on. So I'm going to miss these guys, and they were great players. They've seen the elephant. That's an old Civil War quote about, you know, getting into battle. You know, they were undefeated as freshmen, and in 3 years that they played, they've been in the playoffs. Wish we would have walked away with the ring, but they did a great job. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They have a lot of fond memories, and we're going to be bound together forever, especially after that Lenape Valley game. We talk about linking the chain, and we did something quite special, and that's going to be one of my happy thoughts.
You know, hold your heads up high, guys, because what you accomplished, you know, I think a lot of football players and a lot of, you know, people in general would be jealous of the success that you achieved. never forget that this was the first senior class of my, head coaching career. And I like to tell these guys that once a Panther, always a Panther. We're always family, and we're always one.
When things start going bad, I'm going to think about that Lenape Valley game because I still get chills thinking about it. It was a thrilling experience, and I'm glad I was a part of it with these seniors. They definitely deserve that.
After that win, after that season, we are one, and we'll walk together forever.